Good afternoon to all the academicians. I would like to extend my deep sense of gratitude to the organizers of this international conference, especially Dr. Shubhra ma'am. So, not wasting much of your time, I would like to call upon the paper presenters. And in this session, we have 5 paper presenters. So, I would like to call upon the researchers of very first paper entitled Metere Tandur and Sego Angrok, the Indigenous Traditions of Plunturan Pulung Ponorogo, which has been, this paper has been jointly written by 3 researchers, namely Joseph Bevo Angong Prasaja, Siafika Selsa Noniani, and Anastasia Familia. And they are students at Faculty of Cultural Science, University of 17 Augustus 1945, Surabaya, Indonesia. So any one of you can take the lead and start your paper presentation.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon, the organizers and Mrs. Imam Fatima. Yeah, my paper is concerning on quite traditional practices that is still what run by people in.
I request Naza to please mute. Yes, thank you. Yes, sir. Sorry, continue.
Traditional practices in what's called a village called Plunturan, in which it is located in sub-district of Pulung Ponorogo in East Java of Indonesia. Unfortunately, I cannot probably the presentations it will be delivered by my students. Still, this part of our traditions to what they call to cooperate with students in any academic activity. Well, probably Anastasia Familia can share your presentations. Anastasia, are you there?
Yes.
Can you present your our paper?
Yes, sir, but right now I can't start the paper.
Well, this is my paper. I think. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. It is visible.
In short, I will read this what we call PPT, and this is Indonesia, in which it is I think quite well known, and there is an interrelationship with India as well. And if we use what called a Zoom, what called a mode, we can have a Ponorogo is located in East Java. This one is East Java, and Pulung is in a quite isolated place in the middle of East Java. Well, what is I'm still working with this the people in this area, because we have what we call the activity to empower what we call the people there. Also, my working place to what we call the location is quite far. It is more about 150 kilometers away. And what we call in this PPT, I use Matri Tandur as one of the traditions that has a complexity in the practice, in the practice in what's called in the society, and it is still what we call done by the society, especially when they start to what we call to plant the rice in what called in the rice field. Matri Tandur is a religious tradition that is still present on agricultural community, especially in Java Island, whether it is in what we call East Java, Middle Java, or in West Java, and it has different terms in every region. Matri Tandur is a ritual performed by the agricultural community before and after planting, in a particular planting paddy or rice. Matri Tandur rituals full of symbols and that leave a message in it. A lot of use of the objects and prayers used in Matri Tandur. Rituals in form of honor to the goddess of paddy. In Javanese what island we call it as Dewi Sri or paddy goddess. This sacred rituals as well is the cultural wealth of the region that contains a very deep religious value. Hence, by lifting the philosophical and symbolical values of Matri Tandur rituals, hopefully can provide the knowledge to the wider community about the value of religious found in ritual ceremony, which may be of a little concern, especially by most of community, so that the cultural insight and younger generations can continue, maintain, and preserve culture they have in order not to become extinct and fade away little by little, then lost because of modernizations and digitalization development. Okay, I will skip this for a moment. And in Matri Tandur, we have what we call a prerequisite, what called the rituals need prerequisites. The first, usually, people or farmers will prepare the soil to be planted, and I think although it is in a very what called far from the city, the locations in Plunduran is still using it has already used what they call machineries in what they call managing the soils, and they have left what called what cows and what called buffalo to what called manage the soils. And then another prerequisite is paddy seeds, approximately 15 to 25 days old seeds of paddy, and that is ready to be transplanted into the managed soil that has been prepared for about what we call 7 to 2 weeks before. And the component of Matri Tandur is it is kind of what we call the bundle of what called prerequisite. Usually they have four units of this what we call four units of these bundles, and it consists of several what we call several elements that later on I will what we call explain on the below. And then there is this is a nasi angkro, sku angkro. It is a rice actually that has been cooked together or at once with the dishes what on the upper side of the plant. And then this one is another dishes like what roasted chickens or roasted porks usually in Japanese to have such activity. They use roasted pork and then yeah, what called in this what we call place or this wrapping leaf that consists of egg and then several flowers. Inside of this one there is what we call a coin money, a money made of metals, and then there is also what we call a petal leaf. This is a petal leaf that is usually used to, or in Indonesian it is called as suruh. Usually, I think all people use this what's called petal leaf or know about the petal leaf. Okay, every element in this what's called in this part has the meanings or has a symbolic meanings and philosophical meanings. Okay, the egg is, it must be a local egg. Egg symbolizes determination of the farmer in running effort. Despite its sacred, the local eggs provide purity and natural. Local egg consists of two elements. In the words, the elements of hen and the element of fox. It represents completeness and true seed that is produced from the intimate relationship of binary component. I think I should explain this binary component later on. Petal leaf, this is what's called the form of what's called petal leaf that is still alive. Petal leaf is Japanese culture means suruh. What's called the name suruh in Bahasa Indonesia means what's called the root word from being understand or trusted and full of what's called knowledge, especially against the existence of God and nature. The wider sense of petal leaf is meaning of that human have to in God in every of his or her effort or their effort. All farmers' activities and effort must be returned to the eternal power that is God and His nature. And then there is another what you call component that is dry paddy straw. In Japanese, it is called merang. It is used as the offering or to the invisible spirit. Still, since we believe there is what we call invisible life, what we call that live in our supernatural what we call words. It is believed that from times of immemorial that is driven out evil spirit used to annoy human activities. It's used with how to burn the end until the removing of puff of smoke. So the result of the burning of merang is used to what we call to avoid what we call the evil spirits. And then also there is a white garlic used in the components. White onion or white garlic is believed to that it can be used to exorcise spirit evils, one that disturbs the villagers. Other than the what called garlic is believed to have effect positive. So although it can be used to what called to what we call to to dispatch what we call the evil spirit, but white garlic has a good effect to building the stamina of the farmers. And then there is a red chili symbolizes the passionate spirit of farmers in doing effort. It can be drawn from a spicy taste and red color. Red chili as it is a symbolical powers actually in what called the village, and it can be used to what we call to uh, build what we call a good or what we call spirit and society. Hidden chilies will definitely hot, of course, this is a hot. Then sweating, looking for a substance to have to sweat and in order to be blessed. So that is what we call the function of red chili. And then the coin money or money made of metals, the coin is used for offering. It symbolizes sincerity of the for sharing the sustenance. Coin is made of metal and it lasts longer and give an inspiration of protection, since the metal substance can also represent the toughness. So, and the important part of the component in Matri Tandur is sego angro. Sego angro is a rice that is calculated become one. Granule rice that was small will change to a big block if put together, as well as man inside what you call it means that the man inside of his body must be united, and it can be what you call the effort to help one another. And then bundle of complete flower. The bundle of complete flowers consists of 7 kinds of different flowers, namely roses, cempaka, kantil, jasmine, ilang, and then tuberose and bougainville. Flowers symbolizes beauty and kindness, and 7 means the number of 7 means pitulungan in Javanese, that or the help or aid, which means what called means pitu, or in extension word it is.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Please conclude.
Okay, yeah, this is what we call. Okay, there is a simplicity in Squangro that human know problem clearly, understand broadly our problems, and enable us to become intelligent people in life, and must be returned to basic needs. The basic need is what called the hunger, of course. And then what called Squangro means unity, spiritually unity, concept of Squangro that become one in wrapping what called leaf, a banana leaf that can be brought what called everywhere, and it can be the supply of food for what called the people in the village. And then there's a term "nrimo ing pandum," nothing to lose, that typically Japanese spiritual concept that teach Japanese people as a human in the world to have grateful and patient in accepting various kind of life experience. Whatever life event, or whether individual is like it or not, Japanese as the individual must face it with nothing to lose acceptance, because when we accept it, we will find peace and ability to adapt to the dynamic of life, which then creates happiness. Okay, thank you very much, and that is my presentations.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a knowledgeable presentation. We are enlightened by your presentation. And
Thank you.
any questions from any of the participants? Any questions we have for sir? Okay, so now we have Gayatri M as the next paper presenter, and she is a research scholar at Department of Modern Indian Languages and Literary Studies at University of Delhi. And the title of her paper is Revolutionary Writings of Kaniyan Pungundaran in Sangam Literature. So over to you, Gayatri.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gayatri. My title of the paper is Revolutionary Writing of Kaniyan Pungundranar in Sangam Literature. Sangam literature is traditionally identified as ancient and oldest literature in Tamil language. Sangam literature is an archive of cultural memories, social history, political ideas, and as well as aesthetical and ethical discourse of an ancient community. The antiquity of Sangam poetry makes us to read in a multiple context and helps us to episteme of the ancient Tamil society. Sangam literature compiled in the name of Ettutogai and Pattupattu, which means 8 anthology and 10 idols. The poems are classified as Agam and Puram poems, which portray the interior and exterior life of the peoples. Sangam literature provides much space to read these poetical works to explore the concept of indigenous people. Because the literature itself explained in the particular landscapes of the people. The particular Tinai, which means their own region, explains the indigenous people and their culture. But I read these poems by connecting the intellectual poet with the indigenous people. The intensive reading of the poem brings the binding of interconnectedness of the poet to common people. Many poets and their poems represent multiple dimensions of the ancient culture of Tamils in Sangam literature. But among all the poems, poet Kaniyan Pungundranar are much relevant and related with the indigenous people. Kaniyan Pungundranar wrote only 2 poems in Sangam literature, but his poetical words reflected the moral support for the common people. In my title, I quoted his writing as revolutionary. Why I quoted him as revolutionary? Before going into that question, we need to know about the Sangam age. In the Sangam age, the society celebrated the love and war. If we read the Sangam literature critically and intensively, it also portrays the clash between the indigenous people and the structured power. The indigenous clan society forced to come under the mighty kings. The Puram poem indicates the tribal prosperity is one of the cause of practicing war. The prosperity of land, resources, animals, and the wealth were always wanted by the mighty kings. Going against the clan or mighty king would be the destruction of the tribe, land, and community. The indigenous people consider the land as a mother. The indigenous people lived with the nature. They are inseparable with nature. In this era, the poet Kaniyan Pungundranar's writings were portrayed against the structured power. He openly written against the custom, tradition by questioning and pointing out how the king should treat the people while collecting tax. He said in his Natrinai poem that Maramsa Marundum Kollar Mandar Uramsa Seyyar Uyartavam Valam Kede Ponnum Kollar Mannar Nannudal. That means people don't extract too much medicine that could kill the trees. They don't do penances that ruin the strength of their bodies. And the king don't take away all the wealth of the people as taxes. His revolution is not only questioning the king, but he also explored the radical humanity for the people. In his Purananuru poem, he said, Yadum ure yavarum kelir. That means every place is your place, everyone is your kin. His humanism has had and continues to have a variety of meanings. His humanity defines to embrace the worldwide view and also keeps the boundaries elastic. It means little more than a system of thought in which human values, interest, and dignity are considered particularly important. Humanism was expressed by Kaniyan Pungundranar in ancient time itself. In this 13 lines of poems in Purananuru, he describes morals, ethics, humankind, people life with its hardship, failure, prosperity, sufferings, etc. To eliminate the fear of the death in the human mind, he says that there is nothing new in death, and finishes his poem by saying that Periorai Viyatalum Ilame, Siriorai Igaldal Adaninum Ilame. That means we are not amazed by the great, and we do not scorn the common people. He destroys the inequality among the society by saying we should not amazed by the superior powerful people even though we are common people. Due to the shortage of time, I will conclude my paper. Sangam age is also known as the heroic age. In the heroic age, eliminating the geographical boundaries for the people is not a common thing. In that age, writing against the king and pointing out the morals for the king is not an ordinary or customary, but poet Kaniyan Pungundranar portrayed in his writings. The poet rationale is not to glorify or worship the king. His motive is to teach the moral and ethics to the king. The ancient Tamil society is divided into different clans, tribes under the mighty kings. In that period, the poet eliminated the boundaries, race, hierarchy, and interconnecting the people by rejecting the division of mankind into various categories. Kaniyan Pungundranar works are rare and unique in nature, which reflects a worldwide view of humanity. The poet who wants to eliminate the aristocratic glorification in his writings and portrayed the democratic philosophy of revolution through his poem is people centric and his writing is also nature centric, which is depicted in his metaphors. His philosophy of humanity, world unity, peace can be applicable universally even today. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Gayatri, for such an insightful presentation. It was wonderful listening to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Any questions for Gayatri? Any questions for Gayatri? Okay, so let's move on to our next paper presenter, Mr. Kabir Ahmed. He is a PhD in sociology from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam University, Indore. And the paper and the title of his paper is Totemism in Rabha, an indigenous tribal community in West Bengal. So over to you, Kabir. Are you here? Kabir, are you here? Am I audible? Am I audible? Please, you are here. Please kindly present your paper. It's over to you. Please unmute yourself and present your paper.
Hello, ma'am. I think he's not joined yet.
No, he is there actually. He has joined in by the name Rahmat Sheikh. It's there. It's there in the chat box.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, it's there actually. Kabir, are you here? Yeah, that I can read that your name is like Rahmat Sheikh, the login ID. So kindly start your presentation. Okay, what you can do is that you can, leave this meeting and you can rejoin it. I think there is some network problem from your side. There is some technological glitches. All right. So we'll give you 10 minutes. You can come back in 10 minutes. So for the time being, we can move on to our next participant. That is Mr. Jitendra Kumar Prasad, who is an advocate and social activist of India. And the title of his paper is Environmental Laws and its Role in Sustainable Development, a case of Assam's tribal areas. Over to you, sir. Jitendra, sir, are you here?
Yes, am I
very
audible?
much you're audible.
Good afternoon, ma'am, respected chairperson.
Good afternoon.
And I'd like to thank Cap Comorin Trust for giving me an opportunity to present my paper. My paper title is Environmental Law and its Role in Sustainable Development, a special case of Assam's tribal area. Well, it is totally based on my observation, and particularly I have been working in the field since last 8 years for the welfare of the needy people, especially the indigenous people of Assam. Well, first of all, the environmental law, I want to give an introduction of environmental law, what exactly it means. Environment that is surrounded, we are surrounded by environment. So for the protection of environment, certain laws are made by the government. Internationally, it has been made. And in India, particularly, if you see, the Constitution of India has given in Article 51 that India should, the state should respect the international treaty which is made for the welfare of the environment. And on the other hand, we have Article 253 of the Constitution of India, which empowers the government, the legislature, to ensure that enactments are to made to protect the environment. On the other hand, we also have the fundamental duties, which is mentioned in the Part 4A of the Constitution of India, that every citizen should take precautions and they should respect the environment, they should protect and preserve the environment. So these are there are various enactments which are made to protect the environment, like Forest Act 1930 and Stockholm, the United Nations Conference on Human Environment, which was held in the year 1972 in Stockholm. Inspired by that, India has made certain enactments like Air Act 1981 and Environment Protection Act 1986. So these are few enactments which are very much implemented in the ground level, which stops any unlawful activities of human. So especially talking about the tribal areas of Assam, especially in the 6th schedule as mentioned in the Constitution of India, we have Bodoland Territorial Council, which consists of 4 autonomous districts, including Kokrajhar, Baksa, Chirang, and Udalguri. It's a bigger area of 4 districts having its territory. And on the other side, we have Karbi Anglong Autonomous District, and Dima Hasao District is there, and there is North Kachar Hills. So these are the tribal districts of Assam, where indigenous people mostly stay. Especially, I'll speak about I'll put more focus about the Bodoland Territorial Council, because personally I have been working in the field, in the ground level, and especially in the remote areas bordering the country Bhutan, in the northern part of the state of Assam, where some unlawful instance has been seen, like deforestation activities and unlawful poaching of wildlife animals and timber felling and cutting of trees in large scale. So that has resulted a drastic scenario, which is really harmful for the environment. And we can see, I can cite one example of Kachugao Forest, which was once upon a time world famous for its timber. And now we can't see those scenario, what was there long back, 30 years back, because of the very drastic deforestation. So since the Bodoland Territorial Council, because of the COVID, the elections were postponed and the governor rule has taken place for next 6 months. So His Excellency, the Governor of Assam, has taken the decision to start the project Haryali. Haryali, in literally it means greenery. So he has taken this initiative, and a total land mass of 192,175 hectare land are taken to plant saplings, trees. At around 40 lakh trees are to be planted. And this is an initiative of the government, out of which within 3 months, 30 lakh plants are already being planted. So it's a great initiative to go for the reverse deforestation. This will be very helpful in coming future, 10 years down the line. Only just planting trees was not initiated, but also to protect and preserve it. And this will only happen when we start creating awareness among the tribal peoples of the area, those who will protect that forest. Because now people are understanding the value of trees, the value of forestation. So that is required now, because earlier people never thought, like forest people are deforesting, that's okay, they are getting some amount of money for their livelihood. But now they are realizing, when the environment is degrading, land degradation is happening, even floods are coming every year. I have collected, personally visited the circle office in Gosaigao area, where I have interacted with the circle officer and have taken out the data, where around 400 meters of land got degraded because of the flood erosion. Such incidents in the Sankos River nearby. So like this, many cases are there. And personally, I have been working in a village, small village, Adivasi village. Around 52 households are there in that village. The village name is Hukujora. It is located in the Kokrajhar district. So in that village, Adivasi peoples are there. And that village is very remote, and not even a single schools were found earlier. Later, the NCC, the National Cadet Corps, the largest youth organization of India, which is being maintained by the Ministry of Defense, the unit of Gosaigao College has taken the initiative to adopt that village. And personally, I have also gone with them, and I have seen how these people are creating awareness among the people about protecting the environment, how useful it is, how it is benefited to them, because they are not at all aware about cutting down the forest and what will be the benefit, what will maybe the consequence later on. So these kind of activities they have done, and what they say, they cut forest because of their livelihood. But what we can do, only giving relief at the time of COVID-19 will never help. But when we teach them how they can increase the yield of their production, agricultural production, by bringing some resource person from any Krishi Vigyan Kendra or any agricultural research center, so that they can teach them how to come up with some good agricultural activities that will give them their livelihood nicely. They can have a better standard of life. And a small school was opened there by the NCC, and the fees of the teachers' salary is also bared by the same Gosaigao College. So this way, one village is being saved. And from the view of the army also, Indian Army has one fund, that is Operation Sadbhavana, from the Indian Army. What they do, they under this project, they visit remote areas, and they take care of the people there by selecting few good students, and they take them to excursion to see different parts of the country, and they impart training, and they ensure better education and awareness among them, so that at least they will do something in future. So, and they have also planted, from the Indian Army, they have also planted trees in remote villages. Somewhere you can see there is no good communication. You cannot go even by cycle also. You have to go on foot. On foot, you have to go for 1-2 kilometers to reach those villages. Imagine the situation in rainy days, what will happen to them? They cannot come out of the villages. I personally gone and seen those villages. So even from the Indian Army, they have promised it to provide one bridge to them from their Operation Sadbhavana. So these kind of activities are very important. And if we talk about some of the examples in Assam, if we talk about one person, Mr. Jadav Payeng, who was awarded with the title the Forest Man of India by Jawaharlal Nehru University in the year 2012. The person has done extremely well. He is a missing tribal person from Brahmaputra River Valley in an island. So the person in 1978, when he was 15 or 16 years old, he has witnessed the dead snakes coming out of his, coming nearby the river valleys. So he imagined that why snakes or reptiles are dying like this. This is the reason we may face some danger consequences future down the line. So he decided to start planting trees, in a mass scale, where he started the journey alone with his bare hand. He started planting trees, and now it's more than 40 years now, and that 1350 hectares of dense forest he has made the permanent forest, for which he was awarded Padma Shri by then President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. This kind of person are not that much educated, but they are working very hard, and exemplary and appreciation he has been getting. And those people are now role models of indigenous people in our area for the protection of the forest out here, for a sustainable development, the wise use of resources. People should understand how to use a better way the resources, so that at least we can also fulfill our livelihood, and in future generation also, our future generation can also get the benefit out of it. So now some major problems I have witnessed here is man elephant conflict. That is a major concern here. In 2019, 62 elephants were dead in Assam. In 2018, also 80 elephants also died here. So why these things are happening? Why elephants are invading the human inhabitat? This is a major concern. So especially elephants, wild elephants, those who are coming to the villages to search for food, for the search of food and all, because there is something wrong in the area. Definitely there is something wrong, maybe because of the higher deforestation and flood, and a lot of reasons are there. So government has to take some major steps, and only taking steps will never help until the people of our area, the tribal people, will not understand it. They have to get a proper awareness and proper knowledge about it, and implementation has to be there. Only planning and execution will not do. A proper implementation is required for which. So my study is totally based on the tribal areas situation right now, and personally, not just the government, but also NGOs and some of the non-organization group of people, from 5 to 6 people are making some groups, youth people, those who are studying in colleges or universities. They are making some groups, and they are adopting villages, and they are taking the pledge that we will live simply, and we will go to villages and we'll educate them. We will educate the indigenous people. We'll educate them in such a manner so that they will stop deforesting. They will start doing agriculture in a scientific manner, and that way they will come out of this circle of poverty, and they will have a better life. So this kind of things are being practiced here personally in the ground level. I have seen especially, and recently some of the examples I'll also be quoting here right now, that the government is now planning for greenery zones, especially in tribal belt areas, that they will empower the Department of Forest in larger manner, in a better way. They will ensure the proper execution of law here. The poachers are being arrested in last 2 months, from April 27 till June 27. In that 2 months, 41 persons were arrested for illegal timber trade, and around 25 sawmills of timber mills were also seized, and around 99 vehicles were also seized by the government. So these kind of strict actions are taken by keeping the law into consideration. So that way, these things are coming up with positivity in the field. And my perspective is for sustainable development. It's not just the better use of resources in a proper manner, but also the big shots like industrial industries, like in Bagzan, the fire that took place. It was very difficult to have control on that fire, because that fire in the oil field that took place, it destroyed almost the land masses and agriculture. And for long run, because oil is a very dangerous element that we know. No doubt, it is required for the development of the country as a whole. But the losses that occurs for the accidents, these are very dangerous and very harmful. So no doubt in India, we have the concept of the absolute liability, we call so-called absolute liability. It came out of the case from the public interest litigation that was filed by environmentalist advocate, Mr. MC Mehta. So the strict liability was changed into absolute liability, that industry has to bear everything, even if there is act of God also. Industries has to compensate everything if something goes wrong with the hazardous activities that it conducts. But do you think, I don't think that absolute liability is enough. We cannot measure with the life of the people. If someone is dead, then he's never going to come back. Even if the animal also, if an elephant has died because of the train accident, he's not going to come back. So that way, animals are also important for the environment, the way human. So that way, recently the poachers, those who were arrested, I feel they should be punished, and next time people should not come up with such anti-social thinking in coming future. These elements are to be stopped forever. And when we see the tribal people out here, when they start thinking like environment protection and sustainable development, I think this will be a very important change that will take place in future, and Assam will definitely become one of the best state in India in terms of the forest resources that is concerned. And this is all about what I have to speak about my paper. So any questions if anyone has? So, yeah, am I audible? Yes.
Yes, sir, you are very much audible. Any questions from any of the participants? Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful and informative presentation. The title of your paper is really very unique, and the content of your presentation was really very exemplary. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And I think there are no questions for you. So let's move on to our next paper presenter. That is Mr. Kabir Ahmed, who is doing his PhD in sociology from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam University, Indore. And the title of his paper is Totemism in Rabha, an indigenous tribal community in West Bengal. Are you here, Kabir? Kabir, are you here? Please kindly start your presentation. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. And start your paper presentation. Kindly start your presentation, Kabir. Unmute yourself. Are you able to hear me? Are you there? Okay, so let's move on to our next paper presenter, Dr. M. Vandana Roshani, who is a research scholar at English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, Telangana. And the title of her paper is Religion and its Impact on Empowerment of Tribal Lambada Women in Telangana. So over to you, ma'am.
Hello, I'm audible, ma'am. Good
Yes,
afternoon,
yes.
ma'am.
Good afternoon. Yes, you are very much audible.
Everybody. Very good afternoon to everybody, and excellent conference. And it is a role. Very happy to listen from the speakers who are the role models to the younger researchers. And I would like to introduce myself, Dr. M. Vandana Roshni. Presently, I'm working as a guest faculty in Nizam College. My topic is religion and its impact on empowerment of tribal Lambada women in Telangana. Okay, ma'am. I want to describe about little bit about Lambada tribe. The Lambada occupy a prominent place among the scheduled tribes of India. According to folklore, the nomadic originally hailed from the northern western part of India. In course of time, the Lambada migrated to various parts of the country in search of livelihood. They are known as the Aboriginals of Rajasthan, but quoted by Balram Hiraman Patel. Those Lambadas who transport grains on the back of animals from one place to another are known as Gors. They are also known as Gors. This activity is called Ladeni. They transport the goods which on the back of the animal is called Ladeni. Transportation is called Ladeni. In Lambada parlance, some Lambadas have been maintaining livestock. According to Russell and Hirala, the Aboriginals of Rajasthan known as Gors got distinction in medieval India as the community of Banjaras. They are also Lambadas are also named as Banjaras. Banjaras are found throughout the country and of course in Afghanistan, Pakistan and European countries also. They are known as Roma gypsies. There were also the section of the people amongst Banjara who earned their livelihood in the form of artisans, skilled ones, and livestock. Coming to women, the tribal community of Lambada resides all over the state of Telangana with a population of 20 lakh 46,117. The language they speak is known as Gor Boli. It speaks volume about the resilience of this community, which it has fully grown out of the totally unjust tag of a criminal tribe. It was named during the this colonial period. Britishers named as this Lambadas as criminal tribe to emerge as a very vibrant and colorful tribe, which has enriched and added luster to the cultural fabric of India. The Lambada women in Telangana constitute, like any other social groups, about half of the total population. These community women, as women in all social groups, are more illiterate than men. Like other social groups, the tribal Lambada women share problems related to reproductive health. And coming to this religion, religion is an organized collection of beliefs, cultural system, and worldviews to an order of existence. Most religions have their own skatebooks, narratives, and symbols. The skatebooks explain about their customs, traditions, culture, and belief systems, etc. According to Taylor, religion is a belief in supernatural beings and is common to most human societies. However, the manifestation can vary. There are certain elements of religion such as myth, sacrifices, rite de passage, and symbols, which can be found in most religions of tribal religions. Education-wise, the literacy rate of Lambada women is very low in Telangana state. The low education status is reflected on their daily life as well as to improve their personal life. Low percentage of literacy reflects on their children education too. In rural areas like Tandas, it is actually the people who live in Lambada village. It's not village, it's a hamlet, otherwise Tanda. It's known as Tanda. And in other small groups, enrollment in school is very low. There are various reasons why the woman is said to be suppressed. From the moment she takes birth in the society, her living style is very different when compared to general women, that is mainstream women in the society. Her jobs are to take care of the house, children's, elders with her own way, without proper planning, and also with her major earning by doing daily wages, when compared to the general women who live in the higher caste societies. And in Telangana state, the school dropouts are more in number because in Lambada community, someone has to be there to take care of their cattle, agriculture work, as the whole family is dependent on the agriculture income. Children will be involved for the same. As such, school dropouts are more in the Lambada community compared to general women in Telangana. That is mainstream, the Telugu mainstream community in Telangana. School dropouts are more in girl child education. As a girl child is involved in taking care of house as well as take care of infants and also to prepare food. And girl child. Now, earlier in tribal community of Lambada during Asian time, they never felt guilty about girl child or discriminated in the society. They treat them as goddess Lakshmi. Sometimes one used to have 5 to 7 daughters in the family, and they never felt hatred or discrimination towards them. When this modern system of dowry entered in the community, this this has been started. Dowry was entertained in the community. Before, like in tribal community of Lambada, there was a system of karar. Karar means the dowry the boy's parent used to give to marry girl. They used to pay some amount to marry her. It was, but now this system has been abolished. Now the girl's parent should give, if he is a good engineer or doctor or some working, then this girl parent should give at least some 10 lakh, 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. A huge demand in the dowry system, and there is a crisis of like girl, male and boy child. It has been said, but today in Lambada community is also changing the scenario of bride price to groom price. It is now totally, it is coming to like dowry system. Earlier it was karar. Karar means the boy's parent used to give, and in return the girl's parent used to give all the cattle, oxes, cows. So when the girl should remember that some gift is given by her father, but it has been totally changed because of this mainstream communities effective in this tribal Lambada community. These are all because of modern changes taking place in the society. It is also because of the influence of the neighboring community of Telugu mainstream. Not only dowry system, but the most culture of women and their living standard has changed due to the effect of the mainstream community. Hatred towards the girl child was from the last 30 to 40 years only. Giving importance to male is also one of the reasons. One more reason in girl discrimination is that the boy is seen as the owner of the property and keeps the family surname with him. That the most of them in a view that once girl child is married to someone, she will not have any right to the father's surname or family. That is the reason they wait until they give birth to the male boy. Nowadays, they are opting medical examination, and if they come to know the gender fetus of the baby, if there is a girl child, they try to terminate baby during pregnancy. Boys and girls do not have equal rights in terms of inheritance laws. Lambada girls, after their marriage, they do not have any right on their parents' property, such as land, except in matrimonial societies or under special circumstances. The girls in the family are not abused, hated, or subjected to them from social norms. They have freedom to participate in all social events, dancing, singing songs, in mostly done by girls only. And dress pattern of the Lambada women. Lambada women are dress pattern is like ghagra, half blouse, naked, backside it will be open, and to create it is called ghungat. They used to wear ghungat, but now the dress pattern is totally changed. It has been copied from the Telugu neighboring mainstream community. They dress like sari, and what are the modern dresses now at present we are wearing, that has been worn by the in rural area also. We find very less dress pattern of this Lambada wearing those traditional dress of Lambada. Now we find mostly in rural areas also girls or ladies are wearing modern dresses like sari. Telugu mainstream culture is followed. And one of the best, this thing is in Lambada community, girls mostly participate in the festivals like Teej festival. Teej is a festival which is celebrated in this moment when we cultivate the land. During this time, the Teej is celebrated. On the eve of Teej, Gauri worship is performed. A statue of Gaur is also installed and worshipped. This festival is very popular among the virgins. The festival is celebrated for a period of 10 days from Kartika Shukla Pratipada to Agan Shukla Pratipada. And they are also given importance in the celebration of Diwali. Girls especially given importance in the Diwali. Diwali is celebrated on Kartika Amavasya in Lambadi dialect. The festival is called Diwali. Like the other Hindu Lambada celebrate Deepavali by lighting small lamps. They continue the festival for 2 days. Hindu worship goddess Lakshmi, while the Lambadas worship Mother Cow on Deepavali. On this day, Lambada girls worship Govardhan with greatest enthusiasm. The details about how this festival is regarded by the Lambadas are as follows. Like this, on this day, Diwali day, the girls of the community lit the lamps and they go to their aunts, neighbors or elders or like relatives' houses to ask money, and in return these girls, when they go, they will give some gift to these girls. Whoever, a group of girls will be going to house to collect the money or some gifts, and in return they will worship these girls by saying, by welcoming them, and then return they will give gift. Again, what will these girls will bless to all the elderly or relatives by saying, "Vorse dade kol dawali yadi tona mera." This is yearly we come and bless you and be happy and successful in all your achievements. They bless again back to the elders or brothers or father, like that. And it is known as Mera. This system is on Diwali day. Whatever we do, worship, lighting a diya is known as Mera. Generally, the term Mera is used only on the eve of Deepavali, which implies blessing. In this context, is called Mera Mangno. It is known as Mera Mangno. In the Lambada dialect, only virgins are supposed to seek Mera from the elders. Unmarried girls are supposed to do this, not married. On the eve of Deepavali, after performing Aarti for the cows, first they worship the cow. All the girls of the Tanda gather at the home. Coming to the diverse and widow. Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Yes, speak.
Yeah, ma'am. The diverse and widow men. Traditionally, the community follow polyandry tribe was practiced, and the women in this group, they are never feel insecure. If the woman's husband dies, in such a case, she has to remain the wife of husband's younger brother. The community won't allow young women should be widow, so they have a freedom of marrying again. If a woman wants to marry from outsider the community, then the bride has to pay some compensation to the woman's in-laws. If a woman is pregnant for 3 to 4 months, when her husband dies, then she is allowed to terminate her pregnancy. Rights of sexuality are ignored in this case. In some of these cases, when a child is born with a gap after husband death, then the woman parent take care of the child and they will take all the responsibility till the growth, and he gets property share from the woman's parent. In case of remarriage with the child, then he is inherited from the second husband property, and she is tortured for multiple reasons, like she is barren. And in most of these cases, barren woman will be there in the family, and the man marries and he will be marrying again. So, and violence against women. In case of migration, among the tribal Lambada women, only few men are safe from the hands of their husband. It is sometimes so aggressive that reach to high extensive level and quarrel between two people take place. And most domination is from the male person. Violence against women is treated as discrimination and exploitation in the socio-economic and political context. Most of the Lambadas are landless people and they depend on daily wages. This is because the Lambada who lost their occupation and trading business like selling salt before the colonial rule in India. Present situation is made them to work on construction of dams, roads, and houses of multi-story buildings. These are owned by the other mainstream community contractors, big landlords, and these contractors and the property try to do sexual harassment and exploitations are faced by the tribal Lambada women in the society. Women's role in economic sphere. women's role in social sphere. In social sphere, women is very important in the economic activities, and she is also important in non-economic activities. Her role is important in the formation and continuation of family role, women's role as wives, mother, daughter, and organizers. The women participation in social and religious activities, and her participation in festivals, rituals, and other activities which are with social sphere, and they participate by singing songs and dancing, even though they do not have any written documentation of songs. They sing according to the situation and enjoy. It is said that tribal women are very strong and courageous.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. I'm
Kindly
concluding.
conclude.
Yeah, I'm concluding. Yeah, I'm.
Okay.
Most of the conclusion, most of the women in the country have fewer access to developmental opportunities, and they are often excluded from education or better jobs. They are discriminated in the society from the political power, and sufficient health care not provided to the women. Even though the world has opened the door for the development of the women in every field, very less women from the society, from the Lambada community, achieve this benefit. And women is always tortured and exploited in a way of sexual harassment. Exploitation is more in the community. Lambada girl-child ratio has been dropping day by day because of this their male dominance. Okay, madam, thank you. Any questions, ma'am?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful presentation. We are truly enlightened after listening to you. Any questions from any of the participants? Any question? Okay, so we'll move on to our last participant for the day, Mr. Kabir Ahmed. And he has done his PhD in sociology from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam University, Indore. And the title of his paper is Totemism in Rabha, an indigenous tribal community in West Bengal. Over to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are audible. Kindly start your presentation. Yeah, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, Rabha is a Tibetan Burman language which is spoken by the Rabha people in northern part of West Bengal. UNESCO has classified Rabha as a definitely endangered language. Rabha, an indigenous community of northern part of West Bengal, was a major community, particularly residing in the district of Alipurduar, Jalpaiguri, northern part of Darjeeling, plain part of Darjeeling, Dinajpur, and district of Coach Bihar. The present study is based on the data collected from the speakers who are inhabitants of Alipurduar, Jalpaiguri, and Coach Bihar district, which are few of the largest and oldest Rabha village in West Bengal. This research methodology, the core of the study demanded extensive interaction with the members belonging to the Rabha speaking community, for which various means of data collection was used by the researcher. A brief note on the procedure that was undertaken by the researcher in order to determine the sample group is given in this section. The chapter included its brief note on the various research tools used by the researcher in order to effectively collect and implement the data collected. The study has been carried out at Alipurduar, Jalpaiguri, Coach Bihar, Darjeeling, and North Dinajpur district in West Bengal. The researcher has visited the village with the help of personal contact. Men and women in the families go around the villages of West Bengal to participate and perform their art of storytelling and various platforms. Apart from the performing, which is the profession of the community, they also work as daily workers due to lack of opportunity. There are following informants according to their age groups given below. The participants, about 30 informants, equal number of male and female subjects. age. The study has been adopted Lavos 1963 age grouping, or the age group in the study has been divided into 5. So age grouping are 16 to 30 years, 31 to 45 years, 46 to 60 years, 61 to 75 years, 76 to and above. Totemism. Totemism is a belief system. The humans are said to have kinship or the mystical relationship with a spirit being, such as an animal or plant. It serves as an emblem, the symbol of the particular group of people. The term totemism has been used to portray many traits in the religion and the social organization of many people. Totemism is most often found among people who traditionally rely on hunting and gathering, farming, and so on for the livelihood. The term totem is taken from the Ojibwa word oteteman, meaning on sports sister kin. A means a relationship between brothers and sisters who have the same mother and who many not marry each other. The nature of totemism. Ideological, mystical, emotional, reverential, and the genealogical relationship of the social groups or specific persons with claims of the natural object, the so-called totem. The people generally take the totem as a companion, a relative, protector, progenitor, or a helper. They superhuman power and abilities to the totem. They pay respect, veneration, awe, and fear the totem. As the totem is considered as one of the family members, there is a prohibition or taboo against killing, eating, or touching the totem. Marriage and totemism. Within their own social group, they have separate which assign after the totem. The totem holder, the brothers and sisters belong to same family, and there are the same, but the does not take totem from the parent. The same totem under marriage violates and rules ascribed the Almighty. Such marriage are not accepted by social norms. The marriage can happen only between the two defined gotro. There are 100 gotro. There are 100 gotro like as Kamarchok, Kamranji, Karmambla, Karma, Kari, Kara, Karamblot, Kora, Dushung, Dobra, Dorpa, Dingdong, Dahari, Dangdeng, Kudaltuhari, Chole, Champa, Champet, Chaptra, Damdanog, etc. Conclusion. The study of the totem in different levels and aspects suggests that totemic significance of the tribal life still prevail among the tribes of India. The classification of a tribal population has spiritual, religious, social, and cultural significance. The method of classification based on totem and prohibition related to totemic objectives make the tribal people disciplined and sincere to their belief. The modern anthropologists look at the totemage as a recurring way of conceptualizing relationship between different clans of a tribal group and the natural world. It communicates their love for the nature and efforts to preserve the environment, animals, and birds around them. Other than totemic animals, many Indian tribes considered trees as their totemic spirit. Such strong connection of totemic with nature helps to protect the equilibrium of the biodiversity. The idea, concept, and message that totemism communicates has a spiritual connection or kinship with creator or the subject of nature, similar to though and animism. In animism, the central concept based on the spiritual that and all natural objects within the universe and had soul of spirit. The spiritual perception behind the totemism communicates the strong belief of the tribal people on the existence of souls or the spirit that exists not only in humans but also in animals, plants, and trees. Rock and all natural elements. It speaks out the strong body this type of the tribes with animals and plants around them. With changing times, globalization, proliferation of entertainment and spreading of knowledge, a new generation of tribal groups is gradually decreasing. Those tribal people who still stick to the ideological, mystical, emotional, reverential, and the genealogical relationship with totemic objects keep them away from the self-centric modern world. Moreover, the totemic belief is not only an integral part of their social culture, religious, and spiritual behavior, but also a message of living in the coexistence with nature. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your wonderful
Thank you, ma'am.
presentation. Any questions?
Thank you.
Any questions from any of the participants for Mr. Kabir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so there is no questions, and so we are, at the end of this technical session. Shubhra ma'am, are you here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Thank you so much, Dr. Iram Fatima, for chairing up this session so well.